Hey everyone, it's Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. So today I have something a little different for you. Still planners, of course, but a little different. So here's one, there's two, and there's three. I decided to place an order from Calibri, guys, and I actually went in and purchased a teacher one. So this top one here is a daily. This one is an academic, vertical. They also have a horizontal. And then this one is a teacher planner. So what we're going to do is start with the daily. Now, here, let me tell you a little something about Calibri. So many of you, I had asked on my Facebook group if anybody had used Calibri planners. Most people hadn't heard of them. So I thought I would kind of fill you in. These planners are 100% sourced and made in the United States, in California. It is a family and friend-owned company. These covers, you can choose whatever cover you want with whatever layout you want inside. You can choose customizing your name or whatever on the bottom. You can even put a quote or something on the inside of the cover. Colibri. Colibri actually means hummingbird, obviously. And if you haven't already watched some of these videos, Colibri is actually hummingbird, not only in Spanish, which I believe is where the company got their name from, but it also is Portuguese, Italian, and even German. So it is something that is a common word for hummingbird in other languages. Right down at the bottom here, probably made in the USA. So yeah, I like the fact that it is a family-owned, small business. Again, sourced and made in the United States. This paper, you guys, this is 100-pound paper. Just to give you a little latitude there, Erin Condren uses 80-pound paper. This is 100-pound. So it is thick. You're not going to get bleed through. It's kind of crazy. I mean, unless you're using, like an alcohol-based marker, which will bleed through anything. But yeah, I mean, unbelievable. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here is your cover page. That is the same on all. You can put your name, of course, on here. You get your 2026 and 2027 calendars. I like that you get to see both. Now, you also, aside of being able to choose your layout, you can choose when your calendar month starts as well as when your week in your actual weeks starts. So because I chose Sunday for the calendar, these all reflect Sunday. If you chose Monday on your calendar, it would reflect Monday. Just so you know, they go down to the very little detail. They have this My Future Self, Dream It, Believe It, See It section, career, health, wealth, family, lifestyle, and personal. Then you also get your 2026 and 2027 holiday list. Everything is included. What I like here is it shows the holiday, it shows the day of the week, and then the actual date. So that's pretty neat. Here you have a birthday tracker. I don't personally put birthdays in my planners, but you could certainly use this for a million other things, maybe chores or, kind of like keeping track of when you last did a deep cleaning on something or, I don't know, change the oil in your car. This could be utilized in many different ways. So you obviously have 12 boxes. They're dated, but you could certainly use stickers to cover that. So all the dividers, which are a very thick cardstock, you have your month, and then you have this beautiful design with the hummingbird and florals. So the front and back are like that, and it's like that with all of the dividers. So all of your dividers will look the same. Now, when you get behind the divider, you have a goals and to-do page. So you have your main focus, you have a first goal, a second goal, and a third goal, and then you have a very long to-do list, which I think is really, really nice. Then you go into your monthly layout. Now, here's the great thing. Your monthly, make sure I'm in frame here, sorry. The monthly has lines on it. So your holidays are down at the bottom, very small, but the numbers are nice and big, which I like. You have a note section here, and then you have the previous month and the following month. Your top section is narrow, so they actually use the majority of the page for the calendar, which I really kind of like. The dates that go either to previous months or after months will be in gray. So your actual calendar for that month will be in the white with the lines. I mean, there's lines here, but you can't see them as much. Now, after the calendar, you get a monthly budget page. So you could do a rollover from, your expenses and things. You can track your income, fixed expenses, variable expenses, debt, savings, and extra. And then this is your summary of the whole page, giving you a rollover to put for the next month. This has a weekly outlook. And guys, look, it's dated. So Monday, December 29th, Tuesday, December 30th. So this whole thing is dated, but it's wonderful because you can put anything you need to there. The other thing you have in the daily, and this is a little different than the weeklies, you have a section to track habits here. You have your calendar so that you can clearly see what's going on. You have a meal tracker here for breakfast, lunch, dinner. You could certainly use that for a million other things. It doesn't need to be a meal tracker. You could, you know, there's a grocery list here. You can use it as a to-do list. But I mean, beautiful. Now, look at your days. So you have nice big bold font. You have the day and date. You have today's goal. You have a full schedule here, which goes from 5 to 10. There are little gray lines in here to mark half-hour increments. You could certainly use it however you choose, but I thought it was pretty amazing that they went 5 to 10. You also have a to-do list here. You have a note box here, and then you have a hydrate box here. So it does reflect 8 glasses of water. However, you know, I mean, again, you could either put a sticker on the bottom there. You can use it however you like. I've already thought about how would I use it. I would probably put my dinner at the top here so that I could easily, you know, track it in my wellness. This might be more of like the family time. Did we watch TV? Did we watch a movie? What did we do? The hydrate, I don't know. I might put something over that. I don't necessarily track hydration. So, I mean, I do drink plenty of water and even herbal teas. So that's not something I typically, you know, monitor. But then you go, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then you start up right again with your weekly outlook and then going into your habits, your meal planning, and your grocery list. And then, of course, you go right into the next week. So it's like that throughout the whole planner. When you do get to the end, the great thing is, let me find the end here. Oh, here we go. So you get to the end of your planner. These are obviously 6 months, you know, there's no way you could get a coil big enough to even fit a year on there. But the great thing is you're not forced to buy a whole year at once. So say you want to try this out for 6 months, you could easily do that. If you wanted to get a whole year, you buy 2. Right now they're even having a special. You buy 1 at regular price, you get the second planner 40% off. So they're having a really good deal right now on that. So here are important dates for the following 12 months. Now, because this ended in June, this actually starts in July. So depending on when you end your daily, and that's another thing, you can start any month. So say you wanted to start in April, you wanted to start in October, whatever, then it will be 6 months from that point. So I started this for January, ends in June. So for the next 12 months, I've got July through June, which I think is pretty great. Then you also have a password tracker, a contacts tracker, which you could certainly repurpose if you needed to. And then you've got a bunch of notes pages. So that's great. At the back of the planner, they do give you stickers, you know, basic stuff. Birthday, appointment, workout, day off, date night, errands, relax, grocery store, meeting, budget, practice, family time. And these, of course, match your cover. Study, don't forget, work, vacation, self-care, payday, exam, clean, order arrives, meal, prep, bill, due, to do. Then you also get a beautiful thick folder here, 2-sided. And then you have your back cover. The logo is on the inside of the cover, not on the front anywhere or on the back. And you guys, this is just like, you can see, this is a chunky little girl here. And I love it. I think it's fantastic. This coil feels very much almost like an Erin Condren. So they're very sturdy. These covers, the design goes from edge to edge, top to bottom. This is a 7x9. I got all 7x9s because you guys know I don't use A5 and I don't use 8.5x11. However, they do sell in both sizes. They do also carry notebooks, journals, things of that nature, matching notepads. The anti-scratch coating on here is 20 mil. So this, I mean, this feels amazing. You could certainly wipe that off with something damp and nothing is going to disturb that. So daily. The next one I'm going to go into is the academic. Again, keeping in mind the academic, features both a vertical and a horizontal layout. This is going to be a little different, so I want to go through the beginning again. You still get your calendar. You still get your holiday list. Here you have a class schedule. Now, a lot of academics only have enough for 2 semesters. This has enough for 4. At the end, you just get a notes page. So there's no birthday tracker, there's no meal prep, none of that. However, I think, given the circumstances, it's an academic, that's not needed. Same dividers, front and back. You get that same goals and to-do page up front. You get your calendar, of course, same way. And again, this is a 12 month, so this is January to December. Notes in the column here, before and after months. Then you go into your weeks. So you have enough for 7 subjects or 7 areas of, planning. Your Monday through Sunday goes here. So Monday through Thursday, Friday, you have a to-do list section, and then Saturday, Sunday are stacked, which you guys know I love the whole idea of having the to-do lists and the Saturday and Sunday stacked, especially like with my business, because I don't do anything in my office on that, on those weekend days. But if there's things I want to catch up with or things I want to remember for the following week, I will write it in that area for the next. So, and again, your dates are fully up at the top. I mean, everything is very clear and visible. Really nice. Now, when you get to the end of your month, so here's like the last week of January, you have projects and exams. So you have enough for 8 here, and then you go into notes pages. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes pages, which I think is really nice. So you could take notes here. Now, again, you're going to the same thing every month, so it's going to be all the same layout. What I like is these are very clean. If you choose to have color, you can match them to the covers, for instance, or you can mix and match. You guys know, obviously, I have a sticker shop. I like to sticker everything up, so I went with the gray. But you certainly could get colored if you want to. There's not going to be any further decoration. The dividers are always going to be the same. There's no color on those. But you could get, color in the grayed out areas. So when you get to the back of the planner, you have your last month. So here you go. There's your last week of the year. Your 8 projects and exam pages or sections. You have your 5 notes pages, right? Then you go into important dates for the following 12 months. And again, you'll notice January. So it's January to December because this is a full year. Password tracker, contacts tracker, and then you get, I think it's something like 50 notes pages. So you get a lot of paper in here, which is great. These are a little different. Again, you have exam, read, quiz, group study, study guide, study, homework, paper due, no class, and vacation. So these are more related to school. You do get, of course, the matching folder, which is really kind of neat because this is sort of like a enlarged image of the covers. So I think that's kind of neat, but it all coordinates. This one is actually called Chamomile, this cover, and I had my MCC Designs Co. put on there. This one I think is called Bliss. So that's those 2. Let's get into the teacher. You guys, I was so impressed with this one. So this one's called Tulip, or Tulips. Again, you have your same initial pages. There's your holiday list. Here, you have a classroom goals and to do, classroom school year, first goal, second goal, third goal, things to get done. You have a class schedule here. A year at a glance here. This is very reminiscent of like how Erin Condren has their breakdown on the front, which I think is great. You also get a birthday tracker, a password tracker, student health information, which is nice. So it's student allergies, medications. You have a behavior log, 2 pages, communication log, 2 pages, and then you get an expense tracker for 2 pages. Now, again, just because you're not a teacher doesn't mean you can't repurpose those pages. These are great little sections. You could certainly do this as a different type of schedule if you wanted to, a whole yearly overview here. I mean, this is great. So then you go into for the substitute, which again, I'm sure you can find a way to repurpose if you aren't a teacher. You have, let's see, 2, 4, 6. You have 8 pages of graph, so 4 pages front and back. Then you have a student checklist. This goes into the very popular checklist style. You could certainly white out student and assignment. I mean, this can be totally utilized for whatever. I mean, and you have a ton of pages of these checklists, so that's nice. You get into your month. This is a little different. It just says January to do. It's got 4 different sections. You go into your calendar here. Calendar's the same. And then this is the layout. Now here's a great thing. I chose 4 subjects. You can choose anywhere from 1 to 8. So if you just wanted 1, it would be a total line section for each day. If you chose 8, it would be similar to the academic in having all those broken up. Saturday and Sunday are still stacked here. So you've got Monday through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you've got your to-do list here. So very similar to the academic, but the to-do list is shifted. I like this because it gives you bigger sections. Again, this is actually very similar to the Erin Condren academic layout. And this one is definitely one of my favorites. I absolutely love this. It says every week up here, January 2026 or whatever month it might be. But again, you've got your days and your dates, very bold, nice. And again, if you chose color, you would have color in here. You could match it to the cover. You know, you could choose, say for instance, the chamomile cover and get the tulip color inside if you wanted to. If I were gonna do color, I would probably match it to my cover just because that's me, but you could certainly do it however you want. At the end of the month here, so where's the last week? There's the last week. You have 2, 4, 6, 7 notes pages. So let's go to the back and see what we get back there. So at the end of December, here's your last week. You get your 2, 4, 6, 7 notes pages. Then you get actually 14 dot grid pages. So that's really nice. So if you are a teacher and you need to make, you know, like scheduling or diagrams for showing where seating assignments are, you could certainly do that. All kinds of notes pages in here. Then of course with these, again, they're a little different. So you've got meeting, substitute, test, exam, sick day, no school, vacation, grade, staff meeting, in service, half day, late start, due, testing, project, and assembly. So these are really great. You also, by the way, I'm not going to show you the other side because it does have a coupon code on there. When you get your next planner, it will give you 15% off. This one says, we hope this planner brightens your day. So that's really nice. And again, you have your really thick, nice folder, double-sided, and your back cover. You guys, I am super impressed with these. I don't know how any of them will work into my 2026 you know, planner stack yet. We'll see. I would like to at least try one of these for sure. I'm thinking probably I'm leaning toward at least trying the daily. I've really, you know, I have ordered a lot of planners lately, but part of that is I kind of want to see, you know, what works and what doesn't. And I've noticed that I'm starting to gravitate toward a certain kind of layout. And I will tell you what, guys, these are great. The only thing they don't have, and I wish they did, is a classic standard like monthly layout of some sort. I know Happy Planner has it. Of course, Erin Condren does, Plum Paper. Many companies do. That is the only thing that they don't really have. They have daily. They also have weekly options in vertical, horizontal, you know. So, I mean, they have a lot. So these are their works planners. And then, of course, you have your academic, which comes in a vertical and a horizontal, and then the teacher that just comes as is. You guys, I'll tell you what, there's a lot out there for everybody. So I will leave the link down below. And keep in mind, again, on their site, they are having a sale. If you buy one, you can get a second planner 40% off. And you can also bundle things. So say, for instance, you wanted to get just one planner to try it out, you could certainly do that. But there are options to put like a plastic zip sleeve in the back. There are options to get, you know, like matching notepads, things of that nature, or matching notebooks if you want, because they do notebooks as well. So there's a lot of options. Again, I'll leave the site down below. Check it out. There's no code necessary for that sale that's going on. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts down below. And I will see you all in the next video, guys.